Hi, everybody. All right, so we're starting a new. Well, no, we're not really starting a new chapter. We're getting into some really cool stuff today. But we're going to start, of course, with me continuing to work on what I did in the last video, which is the wiring. Let me just take this opportunity to educate new viewers, since we just piling people in. Um, I'm building this plane, and I just set a camera up to try to point at whatever it is that I'm currently working on. And then I bring the footage home. I upload it to my computer. I try to weed out any giant spaces where I've just, left the hangar or am just sitting around playing Tetris or something like that. And then I compress everything at 20 times speed, and then I just cut it into 5-minute segments. I do try to cut it into sections where it's like, okay, I'm working on this here, cut that off of there, but I don't always do a great job. I'm not a film person, director of photography, or editor. I'm just a man in a camouflage jacket trying to wire up his home-built airplane. Okay, so we're working on the canopy, right? Ta-da! That's what we're working on. Before you can mount the canopy, what you need to do is you need to have the canopy frame on. Check. We've got the template on the top of the canopy frame that shows the exact line where the canopy is supposed to sit. That's a big check. And you can see that we have the rear of the canopy clamped to the roll bar, and there are actually specific size pieces of wood that Van sends you to put in between the two so that when you clamp them, they are perfectly distanced apart. All right, all that's done. Canopy is on. Look at that. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, like, why does it look all weird and distorted? Are those cracks all over it? No. So, Van sends all of the, when you get the canopy, you get the anything that's like acrylic like this, it's always protected with like vinyl shrink wrap all over it. I don't know if it is actually vinyl, but it is a protective covering. And you do have to peel a little bit of that back because, you're going to be drilling holes, you're going to be cutting, sanding. But the majority of it will be left on until basically the day before it goes and gets inspected. Actually, I don't know. It might actually. I don't know. Can you do? I don't know if you do fast taxi tests. If you taxi around before it's an airworthy plane, that's a good question. I don't know. But basically, whenever this thing's about to either get inspected or start rolling around with someone, running the engine on the inside, yeah, that protected skin's coming off. So, first thing you do when you get the canopy on, make sure this thing lines up. It's just like the rear window. Okay, there's no actual line drawn on the protective cover that lets you know where the center of this thing is. So the first thing that you're going to wind up doing is centering this whole thing. All right, and that's what I'm doing here. So you're going to basically push it left, right, and left and right, on trying to line up the front and the back. And the way, of course, that you do that is by making sure that these sides are basically equal on the left and the right. Which, that's not appearing to be what I'm doing. It looks like I'm just messing around with stuff. Oh, good. Okay, I'm actually peeling it back. So like I said, that protective cover is there to protect the acrylic, which is very strong itself, but it still needs to be protected from morons like myself. But you can see I'm just doing a little bit of peeling there. Now, the canopy itself, basically, it will be drilled and screwed into place. Oh, this is obviously the next day. It'll be screwed into place along the sides and along the back, right? Along the front, there will be some clips. And by clips, I just mean pieces of aluminum that are held in place by pop rivets. Those will hold the front edge down, and then many layers of fiberglass and epoxy resin will be used to smooth out the transition from the front of the canopy into the fuselage. Now, thankfully, I haven't gotten into any of that yet, only because the front of the panel technically still isn't on. Again, one of these things, when you're building a plane, you don't always necessarily go, page 1, page 2, page 3. Sometimes it's 1, 5, 8, 2, 10, 4. it's a mess. The thing that's important to remember is to always go back and double check to make sure you've gotten everything done. Like, oh, you mean I forgot to clamp that aileron on? Oh, and that's it. That's your one and only flight. So you gotta be careful. All right, so the good news is that canopy is staying on. We are working on it. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be slowly working it into really cool stuff. So thank you for joining me, everyone. Have a great weekend, and see you soon.